Breaking news now. Iran refusing to permit UN inspectors to interview key Iranian scientists and Iranian military officers to investigate allegations that Iran maintained a covert nuclear weapons program for years. This, according to the IAEA Director General himself. Well, joining us now, Congressman Ted Yoho, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and the Agriculture Committee as well. Congressman, good to have you with us. Your reaction, first of all, to this development tonight.
Lou, appreciate you having me on. I think what you just said about the IAEA inspector, tell me why this is a good deal again. I mean, Iran's already operating from a position of strength with this deal. And of course they should, because they got a big win in this deal. And that's the attitude that they're going to project throughout this. And this is not a good deal.
Is there a sense of resentment on Capitol Hill among the Democrats in the House that the President of the United States would go to the United Nations before seeking the approval of the U.S. Congress?
I don't know if you would call it resentment more than just disbelief. As you said, they went to the UN first, got approval from the UN, and then they came to us. And I was sitting on Foreign Affairs with John Kerry last week, and John Kerry says, you go ahead and vote against this. You, the American Congress, vote against this, and we'll be walking away from the table alone. Nobody will be with us. All sanctions are Iran, and they can start enriching tomorrow. That's the deal they brought us after they got approval from the UN. And it's very disingenuous, and it's a disservice to the American people, our national security, and the security of the Middle East.
Effectively, then, what you're saying is the President of the United States turned over U.S. national security to the United Nations for the purpose of this deal.
I think that's a great way to put that. He did. And, you look at who we're dealing with. President Obama today mentioned President Kennedy dealing with Russia. We had a common enemy. We knew where each other stood. With Iran, they're the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. They've got more blood on their hands pretty much than any other country. And you think what they did 2 to 3 years ago. They orchestrated an assassination attempt on a Saudi Arabia ambassador on U.S. soil. And this is why they had the sanctions in place.
To me, it's even more compelling that they're responsible for an estimated 1/3 of our casualties in Iraq. We're out of time, Congressman. Let me ask you this. Do you believe there is sufficient Democratic disaffection with the way in which this president has handled himself and this deal? And is there sufficient opposition on the part of the Republicans to turn down the deal?
Certainly on the Republican side, I believe there is. And on the Democratic, with what you just mentioned, the Iranians won't allow the IAEA to come in and inspect and interview those scientists. I think you're going to see more resentment develop on the Democratic side. And the best thing we can do is walk away from this and renegotiate them, get them back to the negotiating table with our partners, and put the sanctions in place, and then negotiate from a position of strength and not one from weakness.
Congressman Ted Yoho, good to have you with us.
Lou, it's always great to be on. See ya.
You got it. Lexus,